désamorceur d'Alpha a été abandonné. Operators, you have run out of time. Attackers recovered the bomb. Disable the diffuser. Defenders win. Encore 15 secondes. Le désamorceur d'Alpha a été abandonné. en main son désamorceur. Encore. Attackers have recovered their defuse. Alpha n'a plus en main son désamorceur. Agent, préparation terminée. Bombe localisée par Alpha.
This will have been a little overdue, but hey, welcome everybody to the stream. Tonight, we will have game number 2, basically, of the season. So then week 1, this is going to be Dead Astronauts playing against Arson Esports. And I'm receiving friend invites from the players, but they are already in the lobby, so it shouldn't matter too much. So we're going to be having tonight Dead Astronauts number 1. There's 2 rosters here, so this is going to be roster number 1, playing against Arson Esports. Arson Esports, who are going to be one of the 2 only American teams in the competition, and we have a grand total of 3 Anglophone teams, so just about every other team is going to be French-Canadian. Therefore, Arson Esports would be quite the outlier here, which is... say unexpected, not unexpected, but which would be quite rare in the North American region to have the Anglophones be in a, I want to say, in a minority situation. Be it as it may, both of these teams I have not seen play before, therefore I could not tell you who is likely to come out on top. I couldn't give you anything along the lines of a prediction, or I don't know who is gonna win is basically what I'm trying to say. Let me just open up the Twitch Stream Manager dashboard. Thank you very much. The map is going to be Oregon. So Oregon is quite a new map in the competitive map pool. Well, not that new, since we've seen it before, then it's been, taken out of the rotation, has been revamped, buffed a little, and brought back in. Therefore, it is still quite new as far as the current version of the map goes, right? And this is going to make things quite interesting, because your default strategies, or your quote-unquote status quos, are going to be still fairly new and still a bit iffy to establish, and therefore both teams can come up with something relatively new, and we wouldn't know, there's still so much room for any team to figure out something new, right? And this is exactly what I'm looking for to some extent, because being surprised or not seeing the status quo being held up is always nice, seeing something new, being surprised, and being kept on the edge of our seats because we don't know who's going to win at the end of the day is basically what I'm looking for. One thing that we can look forward to, however, is scanning their levels, their ranks. Some of you may tell that the ranking system isn't the best indicator to measure a player's skill level. We could argue there would be some merit to that argument, or that argument could be had. However, I would simply respond with, this is basically the only tool that Ubisoft puts at our disposal, and therefore this is basically the only tool that we can use, right? We are going to be seeing that there are so far 2 players in Arson Esports who are playing, who are currently ranked gold, whereas just about everybody in Dead Astronauts is either Platinum 2 or Platinum 3. No P1s that I can remember, though I really might be just amnesic a little. I do have to worry about so many things at once. It is becoming a bit burdensome at some point. But no, I hadn't missed one of those. The thing is, we're still really early on in this season, so you could have the argument there that some of these players are worthy of a higher skill level, but they simply hadn't had time to get to that certain ranking. So once again, no real way of knowing who's gonna come out on top here. Aside from that, we have just about every player in the lobby, except for one last player on Arson Esports. But as soon as they're all there, we're going to be ready to start. I do see that the stream is still relatively quiet, so it's going to make things a bit easier for me, since, not having to moderate the stream is going to help in me concentrating on the game, basically. let's just use this small amount of free time. I just want to remind you guys that Moss as a 9 cheat measure is going to be mandatory, so everybody has to be running it before the game starts. So if you haven't started it just yet, now might be a good time. And I feel like I've started a bit too much in this sentence. Wow. And other than that, yeah, Oregon. Oregon as a map. What can we expect from there? I kind of like how... I don't want to say it's linear, but there seems to be a bit more, say, narrow corridors than you tend to have in most maps. It is both a good and a bad thing. Verticality is going to be present, but somewhat limited, referring to the basement area, of course. The thing is, if you can have good map control, good rotation, cutoff lane, watch, thingy, not really actually sure how I should phrase that, but if you can have good lane control, if you can cut off your rotations, be it by the attackers or for the defenders, you can really be a huge pain. Or I feel like having rotation and lane control is really important to basically win out on this map. Verticality, as long as we're not talking about the bottom floor, can be interesting, but it's still going to be somewhat limited, right? Verticality does tend to yield better results when firing from the top down. So the second favorite bomb site, which would be the bunks, or the bunks area, the dormitories rather. It is at the top floor inside the building, right? So you can only shoot up from the first floor, which once again can work, but is not as effective as it is as shooting down would be. So that really only leaves us with the kitchen area, which is right underneath the dormitories. And yeah, there's a hatch, there is those possibilities, but once again, not too prevalent. Also, I do find it quite interesting. So you have some maps where rappelling on a window, and holding an angle in a window, for example, the Blackbeard can be really, really strong. And it is absolutely true, right? When you don't have a balcony, when you don't make it trivially easy for a defender to run out, the rappel position is so much better, so much stronger. Which is why you barely ever see a Blackbeard on a map such as Outback. I know it is not a competitive map, but still, this goes to show that as long as we're not talking about the bottom floor, or actually when we're only talking about dorms, Blackbeard rappelling into kids' dorms can be really, really good as long as you make sure that you don't get peeked by the attic. And I think this is about the extent of the idea, the thought that I had there. My brain farts are coming in. Thing is, we're only missing a player on the Arson Esports' side, and did astronauts seem to be asking themselves, where's the fifth? When's the fifth coming? As they just typed in the chat, hey, when is your guy gonna join in? No answer has been given by Arson Esports so far, but yeah, I am gonna remain hopeful that the game starts relatively shortly here. So, this would be a good moment to ask the chat, to ask you guys, who are you rooting for? Feel free to just spam the chat with the teams that you're rooting for, basically. And yeah, let's see. Do you guys think that Astronauts is gonna win, or do you guys think Arson Esports is going to take it? Also, this is unlikely to hit close to home for too many of the viewers right here, but for those Quebecers, for those French Canadians in the chat, Joyeux Saint-Jean, Happy Saint-Jean. It's basically Quebec's day, and it was a not really national holiday, but a more or less local holiday, just like for 4th of July is going to come up for our American friends pretty shortly here. So your day is coming, ours was today. So once again, happy Saint-Jean to the Quebecers out there. All right, I see both of your teams are ready. So last reminder about Moss, and with that being said, good luck, have fun, and may the best team win. And without further ado, let's just jump into it. This is going to be the one and only map of the day, for better or for worst. And yeah, Oregon. Like I said, Oregon is still a fairly new map, and what I do like about that is simply that we don't really know what to expect. Operator bans wise, of course, right? Thatcher is definitely going to get banned. The second ban, I couldn't say for sure. Jackal would still be a really strong pick here. And yet, we're going to be seeing Thermite being taken off the board. This is quite surprising, definitely, as AX already says, what? There was no question mark here, but I mean, I do believe that the idea he was trying to communicate was pretty clear. And Donovic saying, shh, don't tell. I won't tell if you don't. Unsurprisingly, Thatcher is going to be a close second, but I do have to wonder how important or how pertinent his ban was, considering that Thermite was taken off the board, right? Thatcher is supposed to be supporting Thermite, and if Thermite's not been there, who is Thatcher really supporting? He can be a blanket ban or a blanket counter, for example, if you want to get rid of goo mines, Valkyrie cameras that you can't find, or all that good stuff. But at the end of the day, he's mostly used to clear a path for the hard breachers, who, once again, are not going to be there tonight. So Thermite, Thatcher, Mira is going to be the other defense ban. And it kind of does make sense, right? Argon was, or the old Argon, and the new one as well, was basically Mira's strongest map. And oh my gosh, Arson Esports absolutely knew who they were going for. The timer jumped down to 3, 2, 1 immediately. And I do have to say, Arson's bans are unorthodox. They're unexpected and a bit surprising, to say the least. It is not necessarily a critique, or it's not necessarily a negative point here. If they have found a way to reinvent the wheel, and if they found a way to surprise dead astronauts at just about every turn during the game, the victory is almost guaranteed to be theirs. However, it really can go both ways. Either they won, either they reinvented the wheel and they found, you know, a really revolutionary strategy which really does hinge on Thermite and Goyo's absence. Either that, or you could argue they don't exactly follow the standard meta, which could also be an indication that they really don't know what they're doing. Without having seen them played so far, I really couldn't tell you which is which, but you know, the players. Sorry, I just have to. They are.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
You can find a list of the disallowed skins on Battlefy. So yeah, just to get back into what I was saying, you could argue maybe they really don't know what they're doing. They're going for really strange operator bans, but they wouldn't be, you know, gold and platinum if they really were just running around with, you know, like headless chickens. So really, I am quite curious and quite eager to see what Arson Esports are gonna bring forth to the table here. Also, bro, it's freaking 25 degrees Celsius here at 2:15. I can't get to sleep because I'm goddamn sweating. 2:15. Are you? You're from Europe. I have to assume. Elite skins except Valk and Twitch are allowed. All right. And here I was almost missing out on the beginning of the action here. Y-Killer seems to have been the the first one to receive the brunt of the assault. He's taken some damage, but nothing too dramatic. You know, Doc was able to heal him, and he is going to be back at it, potatoing a little bit, but getting the kill at the end of the day. That's what matters. And he also got the diffuser. That is huge. He will be refragged immediately, though. And unfortunately for him, he wasn't in a position to get the kill on the important operator, that being the hard breaching operator. Thatcher being off the board, that doesn't mean much regarding the fact that he didn't get to kill Hibana. It's really Freezy, the Maverick he wanted to get, and that is unfortunately not happening. Donovic would be the second one to be holding off the pressure. He try as he may, he's not going to see Maverick there as long as the reinforced wall still holds. So he's just going to have to resort to looking at the corridor. As a grenade gets tossed in, he doesn't get any damage done to him, and he's still really strong and hard left. He's going to get peeked though. Oh, Zofia not hitting anything. Just a smoke peeks in. He's going to save his life, but the skin of his teeth though. And the good and bad news is he's exposed himself a lot. He's made his position known. Wasn't able to get any kill on just about anybody. However, Noise was able to see a few opponents and to gather intel on their positions. And that is invaluable. You still have to translate that knowledge into an actual kill. And once again, he is not going to manage to, you know, close the deal. But still, he is making steady progress. Very slow, right? But still, fairly steady progress. Hibana opening up right here. This can put the defenders in a pickle, to say the least. Donovic is holding the hard breached wall open here. And he's going to die to the fire. That is going to leave, I believe... No, he was no longer there. Of course, there's a rotation hole. But still, attackers now might be just about ready to set foot on OBJ and start to think about planning. Dimra is, you know, the best defense the defenders still have, I want to say. MP5 is a really strong gun, the ACOG and all that good stuff. But the diffuser is being planted, and this is going to be a frag and refrag situation. The diffuser still is being planted. Another kill, leaving us with smoke. Last operator alive, and the shotgun would have been deadly at this range, but it doesn't get even a single shot off. Dead Astronauts is going to win round number 1. And this is a strong start for them. Like, how many players did they lose? I believe 1 or 2 only. So they didn't exactly win the round by the skin of their teeth, and you cannot argue that they won the round by sheer luck, chance, or by some dumb hazard. Therefore, if they just keep on going like that, should the first round be a strong indicator of what the rest of the game holds in store for us, things would be looking fairly good for the Astronauts. Of course, in and of itself, that doesn't mean much because both teams have to kind of get the hang of things, kind of get to know each other, figure out what play styles they have, what kind of play style could be a good counter to their opponent's way of doing things. And now the learning phase, sometimes, you know, the first few rounds are going to one way, but then the tables just turn, starting around round number 3, round number 4. So, this was it for round number 1. So let's just jump into the other round, which is going to be played in the basement, so laundry room, and what's the other bomb site called exactly? I can't quite remember. And supply room. Okay, laundry and supply. Thing is, Arson Esports, they could have gone upstairs again, and it could have yielded some interesting results, simply because they just went there, they just failed, and so... assuming they have some critical thinking, or assuming they have some problem-solving skills, they could know what went wrong, right? They could think to themselves, okay, that flank was poorly watched. We should have had a roamer there, tried to, you know, spin this trap on them, and therefore just, you know, attempting a second take could have yielded better results because they would have known what mistakes not to repeat. Instead, they decided to just reset everything, start from scratch at some other place. And yeah, they're just rolling the dice here, I feel like. But still, if they do have a stronger defense down there, I mean, what's to stop them from winning? Not too much. And apparently we are already seeing some different playstyles from the defenders. So Arsons, they do have a roamer. This is going to be the castle right here. Unfortunately, castle is unlikely to do too much as he's being droned out by 2 drones at the same time. So of course, you know, drone economy is going to be huge in this game. And with a bit of, you know, bad luck, AX right here is absolutely going to get the wall bang nicely done. And this is going to be already a 3v5 situation. Things are not looking too good for Arson Esports. Dimra is here hard left at the bottom of the staircase. Should somebody run down big tower, he would be dealt with immediately. And that boy is on the bomb side with the shotgun. I do have to say, the shotgun doesn't have the greatest range. And the angle he's holding is likely to leave him stuck in a long-range firefight. But for the time being, nobody's actively being pushed, and Dimra has not been spotted by that drone. Therefore, there is Zofia that could receive a nasty surprise, but she seems to have been expecting it. Unfortunately, she did have a Guman in her foot. Those 2 drones are going to get shot down, but there's somebody in the freezer, and he doesn't seem to notice. Unfortunately, he's going to get shot in the back of the face. Is that going to be a double kill or a refrag situation? Thing is, Donovic, even if he gets or doesn't get the kill, he is going to get outflanked by his opponents pretty quickly, as Hibana is opening up that wall. Was part of it jammed or what happened there? I couldn't tell you, but there you go. This is going to be a refrag situation. That boy last upper alive, just like last time. He's playing with the same guns, not exactly the same operator, so without the smoke canisters, he is unlikely to be able to delay the push or, to buy some time, cut off one rotation hole, or anything along those lines. So things are not looking too good for him. He's not being actively pushed, which is going to allow him to stay alive for a bit longer, but at the same time, he was not in the position to deny that diffuser from being planted, with Noise winning round number 2 for his teammates. This is starting to look pretty good for our Dead Astronauts, even though the game is still really, really young. Anything can still happen. Dead Astronauts are still establishing themselves as, the dominant team here. They have, I don't want to say minimal difficulties to push in, because, they still were stalled for some time. They had to, go in, methodically. For example, looking at the wallbang for the Roman castle, he was not rushed head on, right? The attackers, that astronauts, they're not that confident in their ability to overwhelm their opponents by sheer willpower, right? They still have to pay attention, set up a strategy, but once the execution happens, even though it takes a bit more time because they do have to plan something ahead, once the planning phase is done and once it's time to actually start doing stuff, things are looking really good for the Dead Astronauts. At this point, gun skill wise, it doesn't look too good for the defense. What I would say, or what I would encourage them to do if you were to hope to see them win a few rounds, would simply be to stall the attack. Once again, kills wise, rounds don't seem too easy to win for Arson Esports. Instead, let's try to maybe run out the clock. And to stall them until the timer causes the defense to win it out by default. That could be an interesting strategy. Or maybe they could just double down on the roaming game and try to get a few kills that way. But this is always a risky business. Travel is going to spot Dimra, so Dimra, of course, is going to be identified. Before the attackers rush in too quickly, let's just take a look at the defense. This is going to be slightly different compared to last round. But generally speaking, not radically different, right? So Dimra has been spotted. Will the attackers, will dead astronauts try to go up against Dimra? Because you can either go up against the roamers or totally ignore them and then simply rush the OBJ and leave the remaining defenders in a retake situation, which is, none too pleasing. Dimra is going to be right here, will be spotted. I don't see any players for Dead Astronauts trying to rush him and trying to aggressively get the kill on him. So far, it is still looking somewhat viable. He's going to get pushed by IQ, though, and that's the thing. IQ is going to see the jammer in real time. He's going to know his position every step of the way, and this is why, unfortunately, Vigil didn't stand a chance there. And just like that, Y-Killer is also going to be spotted. Things are not looking good for him either. He could drop somebody could drop the hatch, but there you go. IQ is going to get a double kill here. Travel is on his way to get an ace if he keeps on getting kills at a similar pace. And I do believe somebody was by the freezer area. So if he wants to just run down the stairs, Donovic probably would get the kill. But if he does it in a say calculated fashion, it might just work. For example, right here, he dropped out. He knew Donovic was going to be there. Camera gets destroyed. Of course, this is going to indicate his position. Pre-fires, on the default angle is going to be watched. And now he's slowly making his way in the freezer, and he's gonna cut off a rotation. Donovic, why did you turn your back on him? That was a rookie mistake, I want to say, and it is gonna yield unfortunate results. Travel taking some amount of damage by that boy here, but I do believe both traded a few bullets, and there you go. Utarki is going to that was a diffuser. This can be huge. Is he gonna get a double kill? Unfortunately not, because even if you do lose the control of the OBJ, holding the diffuser is going to, make the attackers hold on the bomb site itself redundant and basically worthless. Fortunately, at the end of the day, still, it was a 1v5 situation. Not too much he could do here. But I do like to see that they don't give up, right? It would be fairly easy for Arson Esports to just think to themselves, oh, it just doesn't work. Let's just, I don't know, start not necessarily giving up, but, rookie teams might tend to tilt and to start say blaming each other for their deaths, and when team cohesion and when teamwork starts to drop, of course the overall performance of the team is going to drastically plummet. So far, yeah, the game is still young and everything, but I still see them trying their best from the beginning up until the bitter end. And this is what we like to see, you know. Your chances at a comeback are still there, but if you stop actually trying to win, if you stop actually working together, your chances just drop down to 0. So after having been laundry twice, we are going to try to play out in dorms. Just like round number 1. So this is what I was saying earlier on, right? They could go either at a new place and try something totally new, or they could go where they just went and try to patch up the holes in their previous defense. You know, those same holes that led to Dead Astronauts winning out the round. And in that instance, it seemed like Arson Esports, they've had enough of trying and failing downstairs, so they are going to give the dorms area a second shot. Defense-wise, it is going to look fairly similar, you know, reinforced. Oh no, that wall right here is not reinforced. This is intriguing to say the least. Rotation holes with the reinforcement at the typical areas is still going to be expected. But there you go. This is the gist of it, I want to say. A drone is going to be tossed out here, but he is technically exposed. If Wirekiller wants to pick this in the right way, he could even have killed Noise whilst he was droning, which would have been, you know, a dumb mistake to make. But the thing is, Wirekiller is just jumping into those drones' line of sight, so his position is going to be, you know, constantly known by the attackers, and therefore the astronauts, they know, for example, that Freezy can freely walk in from that doorway. He is unlikely to be actively waited for. Yeah, and exactly, there's no welcome party waiting for him right here. Still, that wall not being reinforced is going to be a Zophia's wet dream come true, and I do believe he is going to act on that, right? There's somebody... Oh, and oh no, this is extremely dangerous. Is he gonna get shot at? No. Oh gosh. What do they want to try to do this again? Of course not, right? So now it's gonna be Vizcanio, who is holding the angle, the tightest angle possible. Nobody's gonna be peeking him, and he still has to juggle between, you know, 2 lines of sight as soon as Freezy is done opening up the reinforced wall, which he hasn't done yet for some reason. Oh, because Hibana was able to get that opened. Probably travel with the IQ, went downstairs and destroyed the batteries from beneath, which is quite ingenious and not... Oh, a nice kill here. Wirekiller winning Arson Esports' first blood. For the first time, I believe, in the game, he's going to be refragged immediately, and that refrag is going to morph into a double kill. Good, solid stuff, but still, with an equilibrium 3-3 players up on both teams, things are still looking, I want to say 50-50. Dead Astronauts, they are not relenting though. If a single or if a specific angle doesn't pan out, for example, Otarki here is not finding things super easy to, you know, he cannot just push in. Well, what's going to happen? Dead Astronauts are going to try to find another angle to insert themselves into, and that is going to be the attic area. So now that Noise and Utarki are working together, they are likely to make some progress, but the defense is still holding strong, just on a smaller area of the map overall. But said area is the actual bomb site, so does it really matter? At the end of the day, not too much, right? 30 seconds remaining on the clock. Arson Esports are as good as they can be given the current situation, right? Not over-peaking, not playing too aggressively. They know that astronauts have to come to them, and they act accordingly. This is going to be a refrag right here. Freezy is going to start planting, so now things are not looking too good, and that's going to be a nice pre-fire. The nitro cell being tossed out. Unfortunately, he's being tossed at the wrong area, and now the diffuser has been planted. That boy, oh, you knew where opponent was, but you didn't know where within the room he was, unfortunately. You know, those are blind pre-fires who are going to yield expected results. On the hard left, he barely saw him, but did not shoot, unfortunately. This was the one round that Arson Esports had a, you know, solid chance of winning. Unfortunately, it did not pan out that way. But still, compared to the very first round, they were so much closer to the victory compared to, you know, the beginning of the game. And therefore, if they just keep on improving their way of dealing with dead astronauts at a steady pace, by the time the role swap occurs, they might even win a round. And that's kind of what you want, because the default or the status quo is that Dead Astronauts beats Arson Esports. However, if you are able to turn the tables by studying your opponent, by finding out their weaknesses, by exploiting their weaknesses, by devising a plot to, you know, work against what they best do, well, then your chances of winning are just going to shoot up. And this is what we're seeing right here. They knew they had to play for time. They did so. They didn't overpeak. They didn't overexpose themselves. They let DAS come to them. And at the end of the day, they lost too much map control to be able to deny the plant of the diffuser. But still, I mean, it almost worked out. And this is what I like to see. We're going to be seeing another Dorms hold, and with a bit of luck, this time it's going to work out, right? Arson Esports are going to be bringing a few new operators to the table. I don't believe we've seen a Valkyrie so far. Dimra has played Vigil in the past, but never in the top floor. So this is going to be a small innovation as well. And I don't believe we've seen a Vigil being played top floor either. Yeah, he has been played, but never to great effect. And this is unfortunate. You do not have your rotation hold here, just the one right here. So it does seem like 2 impact nades were used to blow that wall open. And yeah, that is a bit unfortunate. AX already holding tight angles, so he's gonna make sure nobody is actively holding the angle. But you know, I want to say I don't really expect anybody to be statically holding the angle, simply because pre-firing is just so much better than just remaining static in this game. Movement's the name of the game, basically. And Dead Astronauts seem to be attacking, or to be exploring, a Dorm's main hall window attack for the very first time. We've never seen this angle being played before by them, you know, in this game. So opening up a new front line could be quite interesting. They tend to do this from time to time, right? Last round, just last round, when the push into Master's bedroom did not work out. You know, they were able to open up, like Zofia is likely to, Hibana rather, is likely to do right now. But opening up the wall in and of itself wasn't enough. They went somewhere else. And this last round, the somewhere else was the attic, but that round, the somewhere else seems to be that main window. That main window, which is going to cut off Valkyrie, so she really cannot rotate too much without being shot at from behind. But her angle right here is still pretty comfortable. I mean, if Donovic was to fail, like he is going to do right now, AX is unlikely to set foot on the OBJ without being immediately eliminated by Valkyrie. And there's somebody right beneath them, but he did not notice that. Dimra is going to be quite interesting. He is able to deal some amount of damage, but not too much at the end of the day. Still, he is trying, and he is doing something new, right? Because whatever they were doing previously didn't work out. So I like to see Arson Esports try some new things. Like, it's gonna be the first time that astronauts actually have to worry about their backs. It's the first time that a roamer is an actual threat. Diffuser is being planted with the impact, and this is going oh no, he barely, you saw the lunchbox! You saw the lunchbox! Oh, he sees it now. He sees it now. But it's gonna be too little, too late, and he's already last operator alive. Retake situation is going to be extra difficult since, you know, he's at the first floor, so there's only 2 staircases from which he can run up, or maybe 3 if he was to rotate through the attic area. And this is gonna make his movements so much predictable. I am astonished that he didn't die right as soon as he peeked the doorway, but still, you know, there's 3 silhouettes just holding, not the direct angle, and oh no, he is totally blind now. AX likely to peek that. 9 seconds, just 2 seconds to get those kills. That round is already lost. So let's just try to get a few kills, you know, for the KD. Save the op, as they say. It is gonna work. KD has been saved, op has been saved, but round still has been lost, and at the end of the day, it really is all that matters. I mean, in CSGO, maybe saving the op is going to win the next round, but the same cannot be said from Rainbow Six. And Mags R6 saying, no, the ace. Yeah, Mags, next time the ace is going to happen. But this is looking better and better for Dead Astronauts, right? They're up 5-0. So at this point, the 7-0 victory seems less and less of a stretch, right? The role swap coming next round might still change things up, and that map is still too new in the competitive rotation, or in the competitive map pool rather, for me to definitely say if it is offense-sided or defense-sided. So if we were to assume, real quick, that Argon is offense-sided, I mean, you could maybe expect Arson Esports, when they do get the hypothetical easier side, to win out a few rounds here and there. But, you know, coming back from, at the very least, a 5-1 situation, you know, coming back 4 rounds, if they were to win that last round for the world swap, or if they were to lose, coming back from a 6-0 situation is not going to be easy at all. Still, like I said around round number 3, I still do not see Arson Esports giving up. I still don't see Arson Esports, I want to say, tilting or their performances, you know, dropping down. A novice team might start blaming each other for their failures, for their deaths, and when you no longer trust your teammates, when you're actively, you know, annoyed at them, pissed off at them, this is when, as a team, your performances are going to drop down. I still don't see this happening, so this is really good news, actually, because devising a new strategy, you know, coming up with new ways of reinforcing walls, holding angles, creating rotation holes, places, you know, Valkyrie camera spots, all these good things can be interesting, and they're as simple as coming up with a new idea and actually putting this idea into motion. But working on your on the mental aspect of things in Rainbow Six is really not easy. A grenade is going to be tossed here. It is going to jump in. Not, oh, it actually went right into the freezer. So that boy might even have received some amount of damage, but not too much. Travel getting another kill. That is going to be the Maestro. Maestro, a really strong pick. He could have denied the plant of the diffuser once or twice, but it's just not going to happen. Once again, the roamers are going to be in a retake situation. Things are not looking good for them. Dimra, last operator alive. He has to come in. His position so far is not known. He is, I was going to say, likely to get that kill with the Avenger Surprise. He gets the first frag. Will he get another one? Unfortunately not. And this is going to be 6-0 situation for Dead Astronauts. Things are looking really good for them. The comeback situation is really unlikely. Still possible, but realistically speaking, I do not expect this from happening, or I do not expect this to happen, rather. Therefore, Dead Astronauts have basically already won, you know, barring a miracle. And Mags saying yo en anglais, malade. Thank you, Mags. I really appreciate that. I had to work a lot on it, to be honest. Oh, they're asking for the stream link. I've sent it above. Let me just give it to you. God damn it, Discord, don't crash on me. Stream sniping is not possible. There you go. Okay.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Yeah, the players asked for the stream link. So yeah, we went laundry. Again, won by the blue team. So this is going to be round number 7, okay? Round number 7 is now going to be Seed Dead Astronauts defending and Arson Esports attacking. Oh, by the way, this is probably something you guys are wondering. Travel is going to be leading his team kills-wise by a lot. No, not too much, I want to say. It drops off, you know, quite aggressively, though, you know, 3 kills lower, 2 kills lower, another 3 kills lower. Both Noise and Aix are being tied for kills. Whereas here, White Killer and Jimra are doing their best, but at the end of the day, these Canyon, Donovic, and Dat Boy are trailing behind a bit too much, right? If they were to have like 2 or 3 kills each, it would already, you know, if they had 3 kills each, that would be a whole 6 kills more in the team as a whole, and that maybe could make a difference, you know? Might make a difference for a round or 2. So here we're going to be seeing Arson Esports attacking, and you really do see how different their playstyles are compared to Dead Astronauts. A lot of heavy pre-fires are gonna happen in just about every DAR we can imagine. And that is going to get, you know, a probable wallbang on any roamers that might be there. But no roamers were present, unfortunately. And the angle of attack is going to be drastically different as well, right? You saw Dead Astronauts not even pushing the laundry area. They went on the other side instead, right? From the tunnel and from the main, or from the big tower side of things. So this is going to be interesting to see how you should go at it if you were to attack from the laundry storage space. So looking at the situation, you know, big picture, Tarky would be here. He has the shotgun though, so he's not in too good of a position. Thing is, he doesn't have a long range gun. and it would be quite easy to toss in, you know. And that Arson is going to be destroyed mid-air. Nicely done for Arson Esports. That might have just saved you guys a few lives. But still, Ucharki's guns are sorely outgunned at that range. Another Magnet is going to be tossed here, so Noise does have a certain angle. He could maybe help out a little bit, and he's going to do his best. He's actually going to get a kill. Nicely done. And the thing is, at this point, another kill, this time by AX. Thing is, at this point, you know, Dead Astronauts, Arson Esports' push has been stagnant for a bit too long, just long enough to make it so. Oh no, he's gonna get pushed. He survives that. Lucky you. But still, you have to keep on pushing forward. Noise is gonna take a lot of damage, but at the same time, Travel's gonna get a double kill on both of your teammates. So things are not looking too good. Twitch trying to go for the wall bangs, but it just does not work out, unfortunately. And there you go. Dead Astronauts winning this in a 7-0 fashion. This was a brutal game. He's gonna eat an air jab to the face, but the kill had already happened at this point, so it doesn't matter too much. And there you go. Travel getting the MVP for his team. The scores are gonna be 13-3. Kills wise, 7-6-6-2. Freezy didn't do too much, but he was playing support. And then Wire Killer, Dimra, they were carrying the team. They were doing what they could, but at the end of the day, it just was not enough. But like I said, you know, the important things is to not give up, is to have, you know, good morale, good team cohesion, and good, you know, all in all, team cohesion would be the right word, I think. You know, you guys can still come up with strategies. You guys can still come up with, or you guys can still try to improve your aim with solid, you know, practice and that kind of stuff. But yeah, the basics are there, and you can work your way up from there. Is basically what I was trying to say. The players have said GG to each other. The players have already logged out of the game, except for Jimra. So yeah, I am going to leave this, and I will just use Discord to remind the players real quick that they do have to upload the NI cheat files, and I would not be surprised if sometimes when you don't understand how you're dying, when you're overwhelmed by the situation. You might be thinking that, you know, something fishy was going on, and I'm not going to comment on that as long as I haven't checked the game files, but or the anti-cheat files rather. But, you know, asking for a MOS review when you've lost that badly would not be out of the ordinary, if I can't put it that way. So let's just say, please don't forget to upload your MOS files to Mediafire and to post the share link to the Battlefy match page. Thank you, and best of luck for your next games. Okay, so this was number 1. Number 2 is going to be the winner's interview. Let's see if they want to have the interview. Yeah, Mag saying, "Ayan Hansan Aglay Marad." Thank you for that. Egg saying, "I guess." All right, let's have an interview then. All right. English, I guess. I made the rest of the stream in English, so actually, you guys kind of asked me to do this in English. I was quite surprised. I mean, Arson Esports, they are an Anglophone team, so I did the stream in English as a courtesy to them. But I would have expected a French team to prefer the French stream, but you actually
most
asked.
of the people that watches us are people I know from the Discord, and they are English people, and we don't really watch the stream because we're playing. So
yeah, of course.
We didn't really mind it, and actually the people that were watching us really preferred it.
So, I see.
Yeah.
So let me just check. Have you uploaded the scores yet, just to make sure?
Upload the score? No. I think we forgot to take a screenshot.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, It was on stream. We saw it. It was.
That's
it
why
was
we forgot to take one.
Don't worry. And just a quick tip: if you were to forget to take a screenshot, either you or somebody watching the stream, if you should be one of the players in this league or in another league, Moss is gonna screenshot every 2 minutes, every 120 seconds, and with any luck, one of your players is gonna have a screenshot of the end of the game. It is up to chance ultimately, but it is a somewhat reliable plan B because you have so many chances at having a lucky screenshot at the right time. So out of the 10 players, you should be good.
Okay.
So you have won 7-0. This was this your first game? It was your first game, right?
No, second one.
Second. Your first game was
we were against the Hostile Action first game. Yeah.
Oh yeah, did I cast you yesterday? No, I didn't cast.
No,
Yeah, because
you
I
didn't have
lost
the
power.
name.
Yeah. Got to. Okay, for those of you who weren't there yesterday, I was casting the first game. Everything was going great. The match was really tight. It actually ended up going in overtime, and then the power just cuts off. Everything goes dark just like that. And the thing is, the stream must have cut off without any, warnings, and this must have been really confusing for the people watching. So yeah, this was a really good, say, first impression for the league. But there you go, power didn't cut off tonight, so that was good. And yeah, so this is why I couldn't remember you playing your first game. I was supposed to cast you, but then it just fell through. Okay, so you won 7-0.
Yeah.
Must have been feeling pretty good. Also, you lost your first game.
We were steamrolling them. We were just like, okay, we're just pushing right now, and we know that they won't be there. And I don't know.
Because I kind of saw that you weren't exactly trolling or just going the blind ash rush with boosted by Finka. It didn't happen. Even at the very last round, last round for the World Swap, round number 6, you were still droning, you were still watching your angles, you were still being
we were
somewhat
kind of
cautious.
confused because they banned Goyo, so I was like, well, so I took Ella because she had a shield and her gadget is pretty powerful.
Okay, so you're a Goyo main.
No, but in our strats in the downstairs,
Yeah.
we had a Goyo, but they banned him and we were really confused. So
yeah, Goyo would be an unexpected or unorthodox ban, and this is kind of what I was saying at the beginning of the game, during the ban phase. Either they have found a way to reinvent the wheel, or they're just not really following the status quo, and it could mean. Yeah, Thermite ban was, I want to say, interesting because, sometimes you do want to get through those reinforced walls, but, there's still going to be either
They were in defense first, so I guess.
Yeah, they were defending first, so it kind of makes sense. But still, my question was, have they reinvented the wheel, or, were they just unsure as to what the best thing to do was? Yeah, Goyo could have been, Goyo was interesting, but Thermite, I'm left unsure.
No,
because
Thermite, it personally, it wasn't a good ban. They could have banned
I don't think so either, unfortunately. So yeah, I would assume that some guys of the Arson Esports were to be listening to the stream right now. So if I was to just, I don't want to say criticize or let's just say give constructive criticism. So Thermite, of course, right, there's still going to be Hibana or like you guys used to a really good extent, Maverick. So Thermite ban was made redundant simply because there were fallback situations. Whereas, for example, Thatcher's out of the game. You either have to sending the Twitch drone to destroy the batteries or to use IQ through the verticality, right? IQ for the dorms area is working, but not really for the basement side. So a ban that doesn't have a plan B, doesn't have a fallback, would make more sense. For example, Goyo, right? Goyo, the single other operator that more or less has the same role, would be Smoke. But he works drastically different. That, and I do feel like the astronauts, you guys really did have an easy time just outgunning your opponents, right? So in a gunfight,
I think most of the time they actually lost more. They lost control pretty fast. Well, they weren't really holding their ground. Like one time there was a vigil upstairs and I was just on my drone and he decided to run for the hatch, break it, and just fall off after
Okay,
like
so
30
you're
seconds.
saying they weren't insisting enough, like
No,
they were falling,
initial-
they were crumbling beneath the smallest amount of pressure, and so you were
Yeah.
able to capitalize on that and just rushing
Yeah,
and
we
capture
had
a lot of ground before they had to stand their ground, basically before they only had the OBJ remaining.
yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like it makes sense. And the thing is, once they were backs against the wall, Arson Esports were quite a tough nut to crack. Was it round number 4 or round number 5? You know, in the dorms area when you were planting the diffuser, was a
Oh
2v1
yeah. Well,
situation. It was a stagnant situation for really long. I mean, the clock came down to the wire, and should Arson Esports, you know, I want to say keep holding their ground like they did until the very last, you know. Once they were back against the wall, they were really insistent on holding their ground. And if you guys were to be remaining insistent, or that much insistent right at the beginning, I feel like you'd have a better shot on winning a round.
well, they just gave us a lot of time, so we didn't really have to drone a lot or take care of the roamers
Yeah.
for like 2 minutes. So we
Yeah,
just it took us like 30 seconds, and they were already all back inside. So, and when they were upstairs, one thing that wasn't so bad is what goddamn, it was when the bandit was holding games when the wall was breached.
Yeah.
He hold his ground because there weren't any place he should have gone to if
yeah, he couldn't fall back.
yeah.
So all of this makes sense. So all in all, yeah, Arson Esports, as a team, I don't know you guys, but I do feel like you've not been together as a team for long enough
Well,
to have had time to
apparently
create,
they
to get
went
up
from
with.
console to PC.
Oh, okay. So they're new on PC. Okay, because I was gonna say I don't think
That's
you guys
all
have
of-
had time to
Not
come
all
up with
of them,
strategies
but
and
some
things.
of them.
Okay, makes sense. So, but I still do see that you guys have some potential. Like, I'm just gonna say this with AX present, just to repeat myself and to have a conversation around the point that I made previously. I did not see their performances dropping off, right? So I don't think they were tilting or blaming each other or, you know, just giving up, and I didn't see them stop trying, right?
Mhm.
So this is the single most important thing to do, right? Even if your chances of winning are low, if you're raging or blaming each other, your chances of winning are just dropping down to zero. So with that being locked down, you can work on your game sense, spatial awareness, because you know Rome was being cut off extremely easily. Jaeger turning around. I don't remember who that was, but Jaeger at some point was in the freezer area. He just turned his back to Zofia, wanted to run away, but he just got shot in the back. So you know that kind of game sense, you know, critical thinking, you know, a few key decisions cost you a few rounds here. But the general idea is you guys can work on that, you know, but just tilting, just giving up, just, you know, raging is something that's a bit harder to work on than just, you know, coming up with new strategies, coming up with new angles to hold or walls to reinforce. But I think this is about it. I didn't have another game plan for tonight. I do have a piece of good news, though. So there was supposed to be another game being played simultaneously to this one. Like both teams or both games had been scheduled for the same time by, you know, hazard, by luck. And as luck would have it, the other game is going to be postponed to tomorrow, 9 p.m., I think, once again. Tomorrow, same time as tonight, basically. And therefore, that other game that I wouldn't have been otherwise able to cast, I will be able to cast. So tomorrow, same time, is going to be another game on the channel. But until then, once again, AX, congratulations for your victory. Arson Esports, you guys can, you guys have every tool you need to improve upon yourselves and to, you know, to have a better, you know, to have a better rest of the season compared to the start. But until then, I wish both of your teams, so both DS and Arson Esports, the best of luck with your next tournaments. And until then, with your next games. And until then, I would say once again, GG's. And see you all tomorrow, same time, for a stream between, it is going to be Unique Esports against Phoenix Rebirth, I believe. With that being said, once again, GG's, and I see you
GG.
all. See you all.
Alright, see ya.
Tomorrow. See ya, man.
Encore 10 secondes. last designated station. Defender. L'amorceur d'Alpha a été abandonné. Operators have run out of time. Attackers recovered the bomb.